So hey everyone, welcome to the practical lab for AWS organizations. So I hope you understood the theory that's used for a multi-account strategy. So I'm going to walk you through the AWS organization service, and I'm going to explain as to what all it provides you with, right? So when you land into the AWS organizations dashboard, you have to first initialize your organization, and it takes up to like 40 minutes to an hour to do that. And you have to go to your mail and verify to the AWS organization's mail that has been sent by the AWS team, and you have to verify to that mail, and then your organization will be initialized. And once your organization is initialized, you can go ahead and add new accounts to your organization by going ahead and inviting a new AWS account to your existing organization, or you could create a new AWS account by specifying the account name, the email ID, and the IAM role in order for you to go ahead and create a new AWS account and also add it to this organization, right? So once you initialize your organization, I would highly recommend you go ahead and invite multiple AWS accounts to be a part of this organization so that you can manage it from here. So right now we have two AWS accounts over here, and I'm not sure whether this AWS account was activated or not. But anyways, good that we have this lab set up, and we can show you all of the different configurations, right? So on the right side, you can see that we have invitations, where you can again go ahead and invite an AWS account, where you would land in the same page again. And then you have something called as settings. So with the settings, you can see that you have your organization ID, you have the master account name, the master account email address, which you have to verify. And then you can also delete your organization from here. And when you scroll down, you can see that you have trusted access for AWS services. And this trusted access for AWS services is nothing but certain AWS services that you can share across your AWS organization. So something along the lines of CloudFormation stack set that is being used to deploy your infrastructure through code to multiple AWS accounts and to multiple regions in those respective AWS accounts, which are actually part of this AWS organization. And again, you can go ahead and use Resource Access Manager to share all of your AWS resources that are supported by Resource Access Manager with other AWS accounts that are part of this AWS organization. And then similarly, you have management services like AWS Config and CloudTrail that we have studied before. And similarly, you have Firewall Manager, where you can simplify your web application firewall administration and maintenance tasks across multiple accounts and multiple resources. You can also configure security groups to be used across multiple AWS accounts and manage them in a single place if you're using the Firewall Manager. So these are some of the trusted services that are available to use with AWS organization across multiple accounts within that organization, right? So next, you can go ahead and look at organized accounts over here, which gives you a tree view of your AWS organization. So you can see over here, we have three organizational units that we have created: dev, core, and custom. And you can see that we can create new organizational units just by clicking this and giving it a name. So I'm just going to call this as QA. So you can create a new organizational unit, and you can move accounts within organizational units from organizational unit 1 to probably from dev to QA. And then you can create organization units within organization units. So let's go to QA and let's create an organization unit within this, and let's call that as the testing team or something like that. So testing. Yep. So you have the testing organization unit over here, and within this testing organization unit, you could also go ahead and add your own AWS account over there to manage. So it's totally up to you how you would manage it for your organization, right? So you can move your account. So to move your account, you have to click on your account and click on move, and then you can choose an organization unit within which you would like to move your account, right? It's also possible. Now I'm just going to walk you through two policy types. One is called as a service control policy, and the other one is called as a tag policy. So let me go ahead and go to policies and show you as to how to create one. So you can go to service control policies, and you can see over here we have two service control policies that we have created. One that is created for us when we initialize the AWS organization, which is called as full AWS access. And this is the second one that we created. So let me go ahead and show you as to what this does. So let me click on this and click on view details. And let me click on edit policy, and let me show you this. So this particular service control policy denies the deletion of S3 buckets to whichever account or to whichever organizational unit it is attached to. So you can see over here, we have the permission, which is effect is deny, the action is delete bucket, and the resource is star. So this service control policy, if this service control policy is attached, right? So let's go back to service control policy. If this service control policy that denies you from deleting S3 buckets is attached to an AWS account. So you can see over here, we can go ahead and attach it to this particular AWS account. So let's go ahead and click on attach. So right now this policy is attached to this AWS account, which would prevent us from deleting S3 buckets, right? So if you want, you can just go ahead and try it by yourself, just to go to S3 and just try deleting a bucket. So it's a result in an error. It should not allow you to delete S3 buckets because you have attached a preventive measure over here, which is a service control policy. So similar to this, you have one more type of policy called as the tag policy. So with this tag policy, the things that you can do is, you can go ahead and view those details. So with this tag policy, let me just show you what this does is. So this tag policy ensures that we have the project tag on all of the resources. So if we don't have the project tag, so the tag key is project, and we are allowing the use of capitalization over here. And you can specify the resource type that you want to enforce this project tag on. I'm enforcing it on type EC2 instance over here. So if we go ahead and enable this tag policy, so what this does is it allows us to go ahead and specify this tag policy on that particular resource, and it tells us the compliance status of that resource, whether that resource is compliant or not. So you can see over here, the tag key that we have assigned is project, and it's enforced for an EC2 instance, right? So we can get a report of all of our EC2 instances that are adhering to this tag policy. This to enforce that you have compliance across your AWS account, and you can find out those individual EC2 instances that does not adhere to this tag policy, and then you can go ahead and ask those respective team members to add the tag so that you enforce compliance across your AWS account, right? So these are some of the settings that I wanted to show you regarding AWS organization. So it's a multi-account strategy. It allows you to add AWS accounts. It allows you to create AWS accounts and add it as part of this organization. And then you can also manage these AWS accounts with service control policies and tag policies that you enforce across organization units or across your AWS account, right? That you mentioned that service control policy to be attached for. And you can also go ahead and create your own service control policies, and you can go ahead and invite AWS accounts, and you can organize AWS accounts as a tree-based structure over here. So I mean, this is one really good feature of AWS organization because it allows for multi-account strategy. And AWS organizations has two types of features that needs to be enabled, like we discussed. One is it can be enabled with consolidated billing feature alone, or it can be enabled with all features. And when it's enabled with all features, you also get service control policies, right? So when you go ahead and initialize your AWS organization and you go ahead and enable it only for consolidated billing, you could actually update that to also enforce all features, right? So where you also get the service control policies. But when you have enabled it for all features, you can't go back and enforce that you only like to have consolidated billing alone, right? So that is not possible. So if you start off with consolidated billing alone, you can update it to go ahead and include all features where you get service control policies. But then when you get all features, you can't come back to only consolidated billing, right? So to just show you consolidated billing, you can go to your name on top and then go ahead and click on my billing dashboard, because this is the payer account, right? And you can see over here consolidated billing is enabled, right? And then you can click on viewing the linked accounts and all of the requests and so on. And when you click on bills over here, you can see two divisions over here. One is bills by the service and bill details by the account. So right now you can see we have only the root account because the other account, like I mentioned, is not activated. But then if you have the other accounts also activated, even those accounts respective total bill will be mentioned over here. And you can see the consolidated bill for your AWS accounts that are part of your AWS organization on top in the highlighted portion over here. And then, yeah, it's respective currency in INR because I'm from India, right? So this is how you see consolidated billing for all of your AWS accounts for your AWS organization that you enabled with all of the features, right? And like I mentioned, go through the topic regarding the reserved instances pricing, wherein you get those discounts over there, and which we discussed as a use case in the slides, and also play around with AWS organizations and write service control policies. And there are a lot of documentation on AWS docs regarding writing service control policies or tag policies and so on. So I would highly encourage you guys to do this, because AWS organizations is also added to the Solutions Architect Associate syllabus for the newer version of the exam, which is SAAC02, which was released in March 20th, right? And the previous version of the AWS exam is retiring on June 30th. So if you are planning to write your exam after June 30th, the newer version of the exam, you should have at least worked once with AWS organizations and looked at some of its features, right? So thanks a lot for attending this session and getting to know about AWS organizations and practical aspects. So thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.